Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
William Conrad stars in an episode of Gunsmoke entitled Chester's Choice. This episode originally broadcast July 6, 1958.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Figured a pound of them horses, Luke?
Well, they're dry, Milt.
Don't get them a wash. You'll be needing to move lively.
Yeah. Hey, Milt, you sure about this job?
What's the matter? You scared?
Now, you know better than to ask me that. Just holding up a bank right in the middle of the day.
I told you, Lute, I know Dodge City. It's asleep on its feet when the sun gets high. Folks don't even rouse enough to swat flies.
Come on, boss. Well, it's your game.
So don't you worry. What we do is hang around like we was just trying to stay out of the sun till we wander into the bank about 3 o'clock. There won't be no trouble.
You must be awful sure about the law there.
We'll be out of town before that big marshal can wake up and get there.
Well, I hope... That noise. Something in the bush down there.
It's some animal, Lou. You got nerves like a woman.
I'm going to look. Hey, you there. Don't you move.
No. All right. Who you got, Luke?
Somebody sneaking through the brush. What are you doing here, mister?
I just been fishing's all.
It's Chester.
Oh. Oh, Milt.
You been here long?
Oh, dang, I don't really know. I fell asleep. A body gets mighty drowsy fishing in the sun.
Look to me, you got mighty big ears.
You hear us talking, Chester?
I told you I've been to sleep.
He's lying, Milt. He couldn't help hearing. He's been right under our feet the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Lute, put down the gun.
Well, we let him go. We ain't got us a Chinaman's chance.
We kill him, the whole of Ford County will be out looking for him. He works for Marshal Dillon, Lute.
Oh. Well, then, tie him up. Leave him here. Somebody find him sometime, maybe.
Lute, it's the same thing. If he don't get back, the marshal will start looking. He might start looking just the wrong time.
You can just bet he'll start looking. I'm supposed to be back there at the office at noon, and Mr. Dillon ain't want to just sit around
I
and
still
wait.
say our best bet is just to kill him.
Now, wait a minute. And then maybe we can use him. You're a pretty good friend of the marshal, ain't you?
Mr. Dillon's my best friend, and I'm proud of it. Why?
You see a lot of the folks he sees, don't you? Like the doc, for instance. That woman, the one at the Long Branch.
Well, I see Doc and Miss Kitty. Of course I do. What are you getting at anyway?
Well, it just seems to me like maybe you wouldn't want to see nothing happen to him. To any fault of yours, that is.
Just a minute here.
You wouldn't want somebody to take a shot at one of them while they was walking down the street, would you?
Why, no.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I wouldn't want to do it if I didn't have to. But you're the one who's going to make me decide if I have to.
Now, you listen, Milt. I ain't going to have nothing to do with shooting Doc or Miss Kitty.
Then you better do what I say.
What I'm
you
trying
better see that the marshal's out of town this afternoon at 3 o'clock. A good long way out of town.
Why, I can't do that.
You'll do it. You'll do it, or you'll have one or two dead friends. And I don't ever talk idle.
Not about shooting, he don't.
So it wouldn't be healthy for the marshal's friends if you was to tell them what you heard out here, you understand?
Yes, sir. Reckon I do.
All right. Go on now, get your horse and head back to town. Then you and the marshal had better be a long way off at 3 o'clock.
You ain't no good, Milt Cole. You ain't no good at all.
Then just you remember that. Now get.
You think he'll really do it? Get the marshal out?
Sure he will. He's too scared. Anyway, he hadn't got enough sense not to.
July 6, 1958, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Gunsmoke, Chester's Choice, July 6th, 1958.
Sam? Sam, I gotta find Miss Kitty quick.
Well, she's right over there, Chester, over at that table.
Oh, thank you. Miss Kitty?
Oh, sit down, Chester.
Thank you.
Something wrong, Chester? You look upset.
Oh, whatever would give you an idea like that?
Oh, I can't imagine. Except that you come in snorting and all red in the face. I don't know why I should think anything was the matter.
Well, I sure am glad you don't think so, Miss Kitty.
All right, Chester. What's on your mind?
Well, I just got me a wonderful idea, that's all.
And what's that?
Well, see, I was thinking this would be a fine day for you and Mr. Dillon to take a ride out in the country.
In the middle of summer?
Well, yes, but it's real pretty out there, Miss Kitty. All them lilacs around.
Oh, Chester, there hasn't been a sprig of lilac out there since spring. Not for a couple of months.
Oh. Well, I bet the castor beans is blooming. They're a mighty pretty sight in castor.
Oh, not to me, they aren't. They're about as poor an excuse for a flower that I can think of.
Well, Miss Kitty,
Look, getting sunstroke isn't going to do me any good, Chester.
Well, but now sunstroke
Chester, I'm not going out in that sun this afternoon with Matt or anyone else. And you might as well stop talking about it.
Yes,
Oh, here comes Doc. You ask him.
Hello, Kitty. Chester.
Hello, Doc.
Hello, Doc.
Well, what are you two doing to pass the time of day?
Why, Chester's trying to talk me into going out riding with Matt this afternoon.
Oh, wow, right. A pretty hot day for traipsing around the country, Chester.
I just thought it might maybe do him some good to get away from town for a little bit.
You were just acting silly about it, Chester.
Well, maybe I got a good reason for it.
There's no good reason for sending folks out into the prairie sun.
Yes. Well, if you was as smart as you think you are, you'd go along, too.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Don't worry, Kitty. I'll take Chester off your hands. Come on, Chester. Come on, let's have a bite of food. It's getting toward noon.
Well, maybe you'll feel better after you have something to eat, Chester.
Miss Kitty, food ain't got
Come on, Chester. Goodbye, Kitty.
Goodbye, Doc. Some other time, Chester.
Another time ain't the same thing. Well, I sure did try.
Yes, it seems to me you tried too hard.
Doc, I thought you folks were supposed to be my friends. You ain't got no call to act so smart alecky and stubborn.
You know, it sounds like you got a touch of the sun yourself. Where have you been this morning, anyway?
Fishing.
Fishing? I always thought that was supposed to calm a man down. What happened to you?
Nothing. Hey, Doc. Doc, have you got somebody real sick out in the country? You driving out there this afternoon, maybe?
Well, not that I know of now, but it could happen. It seems some of the biggest belly aches come on the hottest days.
Sure, they do not. Now, I expect that can be mighty worrying, can't it?
Well, what do you mean?
All that driving by yourself. It seems the body should have some company.
Oh, Chester, if you think I'm going to go back there and try to get Miss Kitty to go driving with me this afternoon,
No, Doc. No, you told me yourself it wouldn't be good for Miss Kitty. I ain't thinking about a thing like that.
All right, then.
I was thinking it might do Mr. Dillon some good to get off with you this afternoon.
Oh, now, Chester.
Well, he could even help you, like lifting a sick person up or holding him down.
Oh, Chester, you stop this nonsense right now. Just what is it that you've got on your mind?
Nothing.
You've got some reason for wanting Matt out of town. Now, is that it?
No, Doc, no, it ain't nothing like that.
All right. Let's hear no more about it. Well, come on in here. Come on, let's get some food.
Yeah, no, I ain't got no time to eat, Doc. I'll see you later.
Good, but where are you going, Chess? Oh, my, that boy. What in the world's the matter with him?
Mr. Dillon?
Oh, hello, Chester.
Well, I see you're busy.
Yeah, I got to get these forms filled out for today's mail.
Mr. Dillon? Mr. Dillon, you been down to Reed's Creek lately?
What?
Reed's Creek, the fish sure are biting down there. It's only about an hour's ride.
Uh-huh.
And it sure would be a nice day for it. You could go down there and catch a mess of fish for dinner.
Chester, what are you talking about?
Reed's Creek. I just thought it'd be kind of nice if you was to go fishing this afternoon. Down to Reed's Creek there,
Oh?
you could go.
I thought you went fishing this morning.
Yes, sir, I did. That's why I thought maybe you could go.
Well, think again. The fish won't be biting in the middle of the day, will they?
Oh, now, you can't be sure, Mr. Dillon. I knew a fellow one time...
Then why don't you get him to go fishing, huh?
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Chester.
Yes, sir?
Why don't you light someplace? You're worse than a horsefly.
Yes, sir. I hear they're bringing in some new stallions out to Lem Bridges' place there. New stallions out there. Mighty fine pieces of horseflesh, they tell me. Some stallions. Make a nice little ride this afternoon to go out there and
Chester.
see them. Yes, sir?
I'm not going fishing. I'm not going out to Lem Bridges' place. I'm not going any place but to Hayes City, and I'm late right now.
What'd you say?
I'm going to Hayes City, and that's all.
Oh, Hayes? You're going...
Now, do you think maybe you might stop talking just long enough to take these envelopes to the post office for me? I gotta get going.
Oh, yes, sir, I sure can, Mr. Dillon. Yes, sir, yeah, I sure can. Mr. Dillon?
Yes, what is it now?
Mr. Dillon, I just want you to know, well, if anything was to come up while you're gone, I sure would do my best to take care of it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to worry you none. I'll handle things.
Sure, Chester, I know.
Reckon I'll say goodbye.
All right, Chester, goodbye.
Mr. Dillon, I'd kind of like to shake your hand if it's all same to you.
Chester, will you get on down to the post office with those letters, will you please? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm going. Bye, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, hello, Mac.
Huh?
Say, Mac, can I see you for a minute?
Sure, Doc. Yeah, walk along with me to the stable. I'm on my way to Hayes City.
Yes, that's what I wanted to see you about. Did Chester talk you into going there?
Talk me? No, Doc. I got government business down there. Why?
Well, he's been working at getting you out of town all day.
Oh?
He just had his mind set that you'd get out of town.
Well, why?
Well, I don't know, but he was at Kitty about it before noon. He wanted her to get you to go for a ride in the country.
I bet she fixed that in a hurry.
She sure did. A summer afternoon's ride somehow didn't seem to appeal to her. And then Chester started to work on me.
On you?
Yes, he thought it'd be nice if you'd spend the afternoon riding around with me in my buggy.
Even Chester isn't that crazy.
But something sure eating him. I just passed him in the alley behind the bank, and he's sure not himself.
Now, what do you mean?
And he's got 2 guns strapped on him.
2 guns?
That's right. And he's acting like the life of everybody in town depended on him. So what do you think, Barrett?
I don't know, Doc. There's one thing sure.
What's that?
I guess it really is important to Chester that I get out of town.
Well, for land's sake, Chester, you could scare a fella half to death. Sneaking into this bank through the back way like that.
I got a reason.
Now, if I didn't know you better, I'd think you come in here to rob us. You wearing 2 guns.
Well, you ought to be glad I'm wearing them now. You listen to me, Alvin, and you won't get hurt if you do what I say.
What are you talking about?
I ain't got much time to do any explaining. I'm just telling you that this bank is about to be held up.
Held up?
I was talking to the fellas that's going to do the job.
Well, why isn't the marshal here then?
He had to ride out to Hayes City.
You mean you knew the bank was going to be held up and you let the marshal ride out of town?
I had to do it, Alvin. Look, I come to take care of things. Now, you do like I say. You go right on up front there like nothing was happening, and I'll carry you from back here.
I sure you hope you know what you're doing.
You don't need to worry none. I got you covered.
And I got you covered. Now, drop them guns.
Loot.
Wait, mister, now. You drop them. It was real smart to get the marshal out of town. I seen him ride out. But you should have quit while you was ahead.
Oh, I should have had more sense. I should have told him.
The Milt's out front waiting. You just stand easy till he gets in here, you hear? 'Cause I got this gun right spang in your back.
I tried to be so blame smart. Doggone it, I should have known. That's out front.
Milt!
Hit the floor, Chester!
Mr. Dillon! You got him, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah. Only 'cause you jolted his gun hand. Where'd he get you, Chester?
In the leg here.
Huh?
Right there. It ain't nothing. What about the other one? Milt?
Well, he's dead. I caught him on his way in.
Mr. Dillon? If I was you, I'd just send me packing.
Oh?
Yes, sir, I sure would. Oh, it ain't as though I didn't mean well and wasn't trying to work things right. Like getting you out of town because they said they'd shoot Doc or Miss Kitty if you was here.
Oh, so that's it. Well, I figured you had a reason.
Well, yeah, but I just ain't a thinker, Mr. Dillon. Now look what happens when you... But you ain't out of town, are you? How come you ain't?
Well, I heard that you were marching around wearing 2 guns.
You did?
Yeah, so I figured I better stick around if I didn't want you to take over my job.
Oh, Mr. Dillon,
You just rest easy now. I'll go get Doc.
Gunsmoke. Produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Featured in the cast were parley-baer as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. George Walsh speaking. Join us again next week for another specially transcribed story on Gunsmoke.
William Conrad as Matt Dillon, also Georgia Ellis as Kitty, and parley-baer as Chester, and Howard McNear as Doc Adams. Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater from July 6, 1958. Going to move back to July 6, 1955, when Classic Radio Theater continues. The FBI in Peace and War, an episode entitled 30 to 1. That's coming up when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues on your favorite radio station.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now, crime drama on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of the FBI in Peace and War, 30 to 1. This was originally broadcast July 6, 1955.
The FBI in Peace and War. Another great story based on Frederick L. Collins' copyrighted book, The FBI in Peace and War. Drama, thrills, action. Tonight's story, 30 to 1.
Well, Inspector, did you enjoy your lunch? The steak wasn't too well done. Everything was just right?
Everything was just fine, Mr. Miller.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We try to maintain the very highest standards in our kitchen.
Yes, I think you do. However...
Oh, I'm going to tell the busboy about keeping the pantry floor in proper condition. Don't you worry about that.
And the icebox temperature, I think...
It will be taken care of this afternoon, I assure you.
Well, good. In that case, Mr. Miller, I'm going to turn in a satisfactory report. Now, let me see. I owe you...
Oh, Inspector, you don't think I'd allow you to pay for your lunch?
I'm afraid you'll have to, Mr. Miller. Department regulations forbid us to,
Yes, Inspector, is something wrong?
Oh, no, I'm just stupid. I left the house this morning without my money. I was going to stop by the bank and cash my paycheck, but...
well, in that case, your lunch will be...
I'm sorry, Mr. Miller. I just don't want to get in the habit of accepting gratuities, however small. Is there anywhere around here that I could cash a city paycheck?
A city check. How much is it?
Well, it's rather large, I'm afraid. $56.22.
Oh, I believe I can accommodate you for that amount, Inspector.
Could you? That certainly would be helpful. It would save me a trip all the way uptown.
Of course. You just endorse it. To me personally.
Well, now, thank you very much, Mr. Miller.
That's all right. And I still say...
No. I'm going to pay for my lunch, Mr. Miller. I suppose it's foolish to be so particular, but I'm afraid I just couldn't get along any other way.
Orville James Hastings, at the age of 62, was one of the busiest check flashers in the country and was wanted by almost every state east of the Mississippi River. In his various schemes for passing bad checks, Orville posed as everything from a health inspector to an assistant district attorney. He traveled a great deal, but once a year took a few months off from his strenuous work to settle in a certain rooming house close by the Belmore racetrack.
Hello?
Hello, is Mr. Hastings there?
Yes, he is. Who is this, please?
Well, this is his office calling.
Oh, hold on. Mr. Hastings?
Yes?
Telephone.
Thank you. I'm coming.
Hold on, please. He's coming.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Delahanty. Who is it?
Your office.
Oh, good. I've been expecting this. Hello?
Mr. Hastings, it's me, Sam.
Oh, yes, Mr. Travis.
Mr. Hastings, I don't think I got good news for you.
You mean our project fell through?
Yeah, he fell through coming into stretch. Believe me, Mr. Hastings, he was leading all the way, and then all of a sudden, phooey.
Oh, I see.
Mr. Hastings, there must have been something crooked in that race, believe me, because my information was absolutely reliable.
Oh, I'm sure it was, Mr. Travis.
But listen, Mr. Hastings, I got something in the Belmore Stakes that is positively sensational. Now, I'm only letting 10 of my clients in on this, and you are one. Can you come down to my place right now?
Well, yes, I think so.
Okay, I'll be waiting. But don't tell anybody about this, you understand?
No, I won't.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Goodbye, Mr. Travis. Oh, Mrs. Delahanty.
I had the coffee on the stove when I heard you getting up, Mr. Hastings.
Thank you. You know, it's all I ever need till noon, and if I have to take time to stop at a restaurant...
I know, Mr. Hastings. Working for the government, your time's never your own, huh? Poor Mr. Delahanty, rest his soul. When he was with the sanitation department, it was just like that. Sit down, Mr. Hastings.
Thank you.
I hope you won't be going out on another assignment and leaving us for months again.
I hope not.
Cream and sugar?
Yes, please.
Investigating must be very trying on the nerves, though I wouldn't want you to tell me what you're working on. I'm not the kind that asks rumors all sorts of questions.
Oh, you're a paragon among landladies, Mrs. Delahanty.
I hope that's something good.
It is.
How about a nice soft-boiled egg to keep you company till lunch?
No, thanks. This is just fine.
Delahanty was the same way, a mouthful of coffee and rushed to work. That's what did him in, never taking a decent breakfast and rushing all the time. Mr. Hastings, take it easy, won't you?
Why, yes. Yes, I will.
No one to worry about but yourself, so there's no use running like crazy, is there?
No, I guess there isn't.
You haven't even touched your coffee.
Oh, so I haven't.
What you need is someone to look after you, Mr. Hastings.
I'm afraid I do.
Delahanty was the same way, always neglecting his proper nourishment. If I had only made him quit like I should have and bought us a little rooming house down in Florida. Oh, well, that's water over the dam, as the fella says.
You and Mr. Delahanty...
We saved $18,000 and then used it up for him being sick.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, that's the way it goes. But if I had the money now...
Would you go to Florida?
In 5 minutes.
Well, now, maybe someday some nice man will come along.
At my age.
Age is only in the mind, Mrs. Delahanty.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. That's just the way Mr. D himself would have said it, but I know what it's going to be, just like it is now, only there'll be more of it. You sure you won't have an egg, Mr. Hastings?
No, thank you. I really have to be getting to the office. There's something quite important that has to be taken care of.
And that's all that's got to be done.
They take care of this jock, and the race is in the satchel.
And who is they?
Mr. Hastings, do I ask you your business?
No, I'm sorry. What'll this horse pay, Sam?
Mr. Hastings, I have every reason to believe that we will go to the post at 30 to 1.
30 to 1?
Or more. Listen, they've been holding this animal under wraps for so long, he goes crazy in the sunlight.
30 to 1.
For a $100 ticket, $3,000.
Are you sure?
Mr. Hastings, have I ever given you a bum steer?
Yes, several times.
All right, this time I guarantee a winner. You can have my right arm if I'm wrong.
I don't want your right arm, Sam. I want to... How much would I have to put down to win $18,000?
How much?
$18,000.
Well, if you go out to the track and make the bet, and the odds are 30 to 1, it would take 600 smackers.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah. You better make it 100, just in case there's an earthquake or something unreliable.
No, I need exactly $18,000, Sam. What's the date today?
The 5th.
That gives me almost a month to get the 600.
Yeah.
I'll call you in 3 weeks, Sam, after I take a little business trip.
Okay, Mr. Hastings, you're the boss.
Now, you're positive this horse can't lose?
Mr. Hastings, I stand to make a 10% commission on this piece of advice I'm giving you. Would I risk my professional reputation if I didn't know we had a winner?
Although bad checks passed by Orville Hastings appeared at a steady, unhurried pace throughout the year, in the spring of 1952, 3 $75 checks were reported in a single week. Hastings had never been this energetic before, and when Agent Reynolds and I called on a roadhouse owner who had cashed one of the checks, we began to find the reason.
So I figured the guy is with the state liquor authority. Well, nothing's the matter with my license, but why take chances, so I cash his check.
Did he show you any identification?
Come to think of it, he flashed some kind of card inside his wallet, but I didn't look. I just said, "That's fine, Inspector. Sit down, have a drink."
Is this the man in this picture, Mr. Connors?
Yeah, that looks like him.
How about this angle?
Yeah, that's him, all right. Hey, that's some record he hung up, huh?
Yes, he's been around quite a bit.
Funny, isn't it? You'd never think it to look at him. Nice, quiet old guy, no family, no troubles, no problems. All he's got to worry about is who's going to win the Belmore Stakes 2 weeks from now.
He talked to you about horse racing?
I'll say he did. He's so worked up about some animal named Honey Boy, you'd think it was a blood relation.
This horse is running in the Belmore Stakes.
Yeah, and anybody with a brain in their heads knows that Cimarron is going to take the Belmore in a walk. I even told him that.
What did he say?
He just smiled. Said he'd be glad to meet me at Belmore after the race and take my personal apology. What a screwball.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's worth a chance, isn't it?
Sure is.
What?
We're just examining the possibility that Hastings might actually be out at Belmore Park for that race.
Hey, you know, he might at that. But I can't figure why he'd bet a dog like Honey Boy, believe me.
The conclusion of the FBI in Peace and War 30 to 1 from July 6, 1955 follows these messages here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of the FBI in Peace and War, July 6, 1955.
Well, there it is, Sam. $600 for Honey Boy.
Great, Mr. Hastings. Now, you're going to lay this bet out at the track, aren't you?
Of course, and the minute he comes in, I'll put your 10% in an envelope, and you'll have it the next morning.
No hurry, Mr. Hastings. I'll be right outside the park waiting for you.
Oh, okay, Sam.
You're still going to bet the whole 600.
I am, unless you're worried about anything.
Worried? Listen, your only problem is how to keep this off your income tax.
I can manage
You
that.
be in a 20% bracket. Maybe you better get married so you could have some deductions.
Maybe I should at that.
Well, now, I'm only kidding, Mr. Hastings.
I know.
Even a joint return isn't worth getting tied up with females.
You don't think so?
I know so. I'm a 3-time loser.
Well, I haven't tried it once yet.
Take my advice, Mr. Hastings. Stay like you are.
Well, I'm 62, Sam, and I've never really had a home of my own.
Yeah, you don't know how lucky you are.
Well, you may think differently in another 30 years.
Hey, what's the matter with you, Mr. Hastings? Now, you aren't actually...
I might be, Sam, but I haven't spoken to the lady yet.
Mr. Hastings, you will pardon the expression, but you are definitely heading in the wrong direction.
Why, isn't it time I settled down?
Why don't you think it over another 25 years? You're too young to get all sewed up.
Sam, I'll take your advice on the horses, but frankly, I don't think you know anything else.
Frankly, Mr. Hastings, I don't. But so far, I never had a horse that asked for alimony.
And so, after poor Delahanty was laid away, there wasn't much left, so I just put an ad in the paper for rumors, and the good Lord sent me a house full. That was 16 years ago, and I haven't had a chance to sit down yet.
And do you mind?
Oh, heavens, no. I couldn't stand not to work.
Mrs. Delahanty.
Yes?
Wouldn't you still like to have a place in Florida?
Yes, I think I would. Oh, Crescent Park is all right, but these winters, well, they do get inside your bones, don't they?
Yes, they do, Mrs. Delahanty. I'm working on a business proposition that will net me a considerable amount of money. I've been thinking of Florida myself, and I wondered...
Yes, Mr. Hastings?
Well, I wondered if you might consider undertaking a joint venture with me in Florida.
Of what nature, Mr. Hastings?
Well, you might call it financial in a way, and then in another way, well... I guess you might call it matrimonial.
Matrimonial?
Yes. Of course, I realize that this is rather sudden. I mean, after all, I've only known you...
5 years this coming 4th of June.
5 years?
On the 4th. I remember the day you first walked in here, just like it was yesterday.
5 years, it hardly seems possible.
Well, it's the truth. Now, you were saying...
Can't be 5 years.
Well, it is. Now, as to this joint venture...
I thought I was in Chicago 5 years ago this June.
You were here, Mr. Hastings. And if you're asking me to marry you, I don't see any use beating about the bush. I'd be proud to accept.
You mean you'd say yes?
Yes, I say yes.
Oh, well, now that's splendid. Well, now that that's settled, there's something else that I've been meaning to ask you for quite a while now.
Yes, Mr. Hastings?
My first name is Orville. What's your first name, Mrs. Delahanty?
On the day of the Belmore Stakes, a score of track detectives and agents of our bureau moved with the huge crowd in intent to spot Orville Hastings. Like Hastings, we were playing a long shot, and we hoped it would pay off. Agent Reynolds and I were covering the betting windows in the downstairs section of the clubhouse.
Do you know, Orville, this is the first time in my whole life that I've ever been to a horse race. Oh, my goodness, where do all these people come from? Orville, do you think it would be sinful if I made a little bet on one of the races?
Of course not. That's what we're here for.
Oh, but Delahanty never approved of the races. He was always used to say they were frequented by the criminal elements. That isn't so, is it, Orville? You don't see any of the criminal elements, do you?
Not a one, Emma.
It's much too nice a day for them anyway. Orville, if I wanted to make a bet now, how would I go about it?
Well, I'll make it for you. Who do you want to bet on?
Well, I think the brown ones are the prettiest, don't you?
Well, I don't usually pick them by color, but Honey Boy in the next race is a chestnut. Now, would you like to bet on him?
Yes, I would, Orville, if you're sure he'll win.
I'm sure, Emma.
All right, I'll bet $2. Here you are.
Now, you want that on the nose?
Wherever you think's best, Orville.
All right, on the nose. Here, now, you go back to the seats and wait for me. And I'll go to that window over there and get our tickets.
That window? Well, that says for $100 tickets, Orville.
You just let me handle this, Emma. Now, you go to the seats and I'll meet you.
I'll be waiting.
I'll be there in just a few minutes, Emma. Excuse me, please. Going through, please. Thank you. Now, Honey Boy, 6 times, please. Thank you. Excuse me, please. Going through, please.
Just a minute, Hastings.
What?
FBI, come along with me, please.
I beg your pardon?
FBI, Hastings.
Well, there must be some mistake, gentlemen. My name is Hubert Wesley. I'm one of the owners of the Wesley Stables.
We know all about that. Come along now.
Gentlemen, I assure
Come on,
you...
Hastings.
Oh, now, fellas, have a heart with you. I've got $600 on this next race, and there's the bugle.
Let's go into the clubhouse office, Hastings, and we'll talk things over.
I just called the office, Dave. We can take him down to headquarters.
Good.
Gentlemen, the least you could do is tell me who won the race. It was over 5 minutes ago.
How's he going to be booked, Steve?
Gentlemen, if I cooperate fully in the interest of justice...
You know who won the race, Steve?
Yeah, I couldn't help overhearing it. There was a spill coming around the far turn, and Honey Boy fell across the finish.
Did you say Honey Boy?
Yes. Now look, Hastings.
You didn't by any chance hear the price he paid?
$59, I think.
I have 6 $100 tickets.
6?
$100 tickets.
Well, I'll be...
Gentlemen, I have a suggestion. If I give you these tickets to collect for me, would it be possible to forget this whole...
Are you trying to bribe us?
No,
Hastings?
not exactly. I'm merely suggesting...
Okay, then, let's go.
Well, aren't we going to collect my money?
We'll decide what to do about that later. The tickets are good. Come on.
But if we collect now, it would save a lot of trouble.
We're not particularly anxious to save you trouble.
Well, I understand, but gentlemen, this female approaching is a chance acquaintance of the afternoon. I'd prefer...
Orville, for goodness sake, where have you been?
Madam, if you continue to pursue me in this unladylike
Orville,
fashion...
our horse won the race, and the gentleman next to me said that I get $59 for the ticket you bought me. Where do I collect the money, Orville?
Madam, if you have questions concerning a wager, I suggest you ask an attendant.
All right, Hastings, come off it.
Gentlemen, I assure you, I only met this woman an hour ago, and if she is presuming...
Orville, what a thing to say.
Ma'am, do you know this man?
Of course I know him. He rents a room at my house.
Oh, Emma, I was only trying to spare you embarrassment. These men are from the FBI. They've invited me to testify in certain matters.
He's under arrest, ma'am. I'm afraid we'll have to ask you to come along with us, too.
Under arrest? For what?
Emma, my dear, they haven't got a thing on me now. It's just routine. Gentlemen, surely you don't need this lady. She knows absolutely nothing.
Oh, but what a thing to say. I know plenty. He's a good man, and whatever he's done, I'm sure he had a good reason.
Thank you, Emma.
I mean it, Orville.
I'm sure you do, dear. Now, if I may make one more suggestion, gentlemen...
You may not. Where's the car, Steve?
At the clubhouse gate.
Okay, for the last time, Hastings, let's go.
On the advice of his lawyer, Orville Hastings entered a plea of guilty to the charges of forgery against him. However, he offered to repay all his victims with the money he won on the horse race, and since there seemed to be no legal barrier to this procedure, he was allowed to do so. The prison sentence, in view of his advanced age and restitution of the money, was 2 years. With good behavior, Hastings will be out shortly, and his constant visitor, Mrs. Emma Delahanty, will no doubt be waiting. Our files are closed at 30 to 1.
In tonight's story, Bill Smith played the part of Orville Hastings, and Agnes Young was Emma Delahanty. This radio dramatization for the FBI in Peace and War was written by Louis Pelletier. These programs are produced and directed by Betty Mandeville. All names and characters used on the program are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This program is based upon Frederick L. Collins' copyrighted book, The FBI in Peace and War. And the transcribed broadcast does not imply endorsement, authorization, or approval by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
July 6, 1955, the FBI in Peace and War on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Please thank this station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. And a reminder that if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. Easiest way to listen to our shows is at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows, learn more about classic radio collecting, and you can contact me there. classicradio.stream. You can even buy me a copy if you want to. It's always good to have an extra Dr. Pepper, don't you know? Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell all your friends that great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.